My name Edmund Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. I would like to take this opportunity with respect to send messages with a loud voice on behalf of the suffering citizen of South Sudan in various towns of Sudan that are witnessing gross human rights violation, and the same manner for the citizen of Sudan who are in South Sudan who might have been targeted in the exercise of retaliation by South Sudanese citizens, whom I consider the Sudanese in various towns of South Sudan are innocent. They are not perpetrators of those human rights violations. My messages are as follow. Juba and Khartoum, we have seen you engaging in dialogue, and your dialogue is done in a transparent manner. We don't know what conversations, what decisions you have made, except we see you releasing press statements that does not show your absolute responsibility to take a responsibility of exercising protection of civilians with regards to respect of human rights and application of rule of law. We have seen Kabashi landing in Juba on Saturday or yesterday, and what Kabashi have discussed with the leadership of South Sudan with regard to protection of civilians, we don't know. What apology Kabashi have communicated, we don't know. We like to take this opportunity to communicate to both Juba and Khartoum. You have absolute responsibility to protect civilian population. And we have seen in Sudan, some of the elements of Sudan armed forces and some of the elements of the rapid support force are committing a grave human rights violations against civilian population of South Sudanese. And as we speak now today as a Sunday, we are getting sense of more South Sudanese are going to witness gross human rights violations in various towns of Sudan as rapid support force is preparing to respond to the situation of what Medini and likely other towns like Sinar and others that we can't mention. And we know Sudan forces are preparing themselves to resist that. And that exercise of confrontation may subject more lives of South Sudanese into danger, into risk, and to more further gross human rights violations. Khartoum, as a center of the Sudan armed forces, and wherever rapid support force is, we need to hear from you directives that you will direct your forces publicly in transparent manner not to target any civil population, being South Sudanese in Sudan or other race of Sudanese citizens in Sudan. The same thing we are demanding on Juba to issue orders to ensure that every South Sudanese does not target any Sudanese in any town of South Sudan. Sudanese traders should continue trading, and Sudanese should start living among us South Sudanese without any risk. We should not target them. And that's why I'm calling upon Juba that there's a need to have directives to make sure Sudanese return back to their shops and to residential area without being targeted. And in return, our message goes to various conflicting parties in Sudan that we are documenting. We know you have sent a message that your forces should not document any videos, but won't tell you in the current modern world any atrocities that you thought you're committing in secrets, we will have access to it. And we will make sure we name those who are behind it. And that's why we like to take this opportunity to send messages to the leadership in Sudan, specifically the messages coming from leaders that are speaking out like Al-Atta, accusing us and leveling us as a leader in the current Sudan armed forces and blaming us. If there are South Sudanese who are engaged in any either of conflicting parties of Sudan, please don't subject South Sudanese citizens to that. That's the political decision I've taken. It's not South Sudanese who have taken it. And we want to hear a direct apology from the leadership of Sudan on the atrocities committed against South Sudanese, not in a press release where blames and reasons of why those atrocities has happened to be justified. The same thing we would like to see also leadership in Juba to apologize on the things that are committed against Sudanese whom are innocent and they're not part of the perpetrators. We demand Juba and Khartoum, and we demand conflicting parties' leadership in Sudan to take absolute responsibility to protect civilians. And therefore, my call to Khartoum in particular, Sudan Armed Forces, and my call to Rapid Support Force, please open exit routes for South Sudanese who want to come back to South Sudan. And my call for Juba, don't allow any Sudanese citizen to face any gross human rights violation in the land of South Sudan, whether in Juba or across the country. Those decisions you need to take, and we want to hear from you those ones. Finally, I would like to appeal to the international community, ambassadors that are in South Sudan, ambassadors that are in Sudan. Your silence on these atrocities is not good. Please, we are appealing to you with due respect and honor. That is a high moment for international community members to come out boldly and take responsibility in the stoppage of what is going on in Sudan as a genocide. That we have said we don't see genocide once more or genocide again or never genocide again. Genocide is already happening and we are silent. And tomorrow we will use it for any international political arguments that we have seen them. They are happening now. My call directly goes to UN Secretary General Guterres. Moment has come for UN to justify itself. We appreciate the statements that come from different leadership of UN that are watching the situation in Sudan and the situation in South Sudan. But we feel we need to see a robust protection of civilians right now in Sudan. Civilians being South Sudanese or being other Sudanese in the face of the conflicting parties in Sudan. Protection of civilians right now in Sudan. UN, we don't want to see another story of Rwanda or Rohingya that we have seen in the past. This is appeal and this is a call. Thank you.